Well, let's check in on the potential of a presidential debate between Trump and Harris. It seemed like it got pretty secured. This is a super impactful potential event. I really want to see Harris on a stage with Trump, able to confront him in person, and her debating skills obviously will be much better than Biden, so I do think she'll be able to really deliver those messages effectively. But Trump is being very strange about this. Obviously, they agreed to it. September 10th on ABC is the first one. Kamala Harris rightfully said no to the Fox News debate on September 4th. And so now there's a little bit of negotiations about what the rules will be, but Trump got asked a question about that, and his response was very strange. I'll show that in just a second here. But first, the reason this question was asked is because of this post from Trump saying, I watched ABC fake news this morning. Both lightweight reporter Jonathan Karl's ridiculous and biased interview of Tom Cotton, who was fantastic, and their so-called panel of Trump haters. And I ask, why would I do the debate against Kamala Harris on that network? He's saying that. So keep it in mind as we go through this, because he'll try to project that onto Kamala Harris. Will panelist Donna Brazile give the questions to the Marxist candidate like she did for crooked Hillary Clinton? Will Kamala's best friend who heads up ABC do likewise? Where is little George Slopadopoulous hanging out now? Will he be involved? They've got a lot of questions to answer. Why did Harris turn down Fox, NBC, CBS, and even CNN? Stay tuned. I don't think all of those are accurate, but what Kamala Harris said was when she replaced Biden on the ticket, it was her assumption that the September 10th ABC debate that they already agreed to with Biden would stand. So as the campaign has been ramping up, it makes sense that we kind of want some time to get all of our ducks in a row, get situated as the new candidate, deliver an effective DNC, which they've done, and then we'll go on to do a September 10th debate. September 4th is probably both a little bit too soon and also on Fox News. So why not just let's start with the one you agreed to with Biden, then we'll see what goes on from there. But both Trump and Kamala Harris have the right to back in, back out. Back in doesn't make too much sense, does it? To make demands and negotiate with the other side. It's just strange how, honestly, a little bit it goes both ways, where both will say that the other's backing out, but Trump right now is actually seemingly afraid, and we'll talk about Caitlin Collins giving some indication of why he's so afraid to debate Kamala Harris. But here he got asked, and his question was a short circuit of sorts.
President Trump, would you want the microphones muted in the debate whenever you're not speaking?
We agreed to the same rules. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. I'd rather have it probably on, but the agreement was that it would be the same as it was last time. In that case, it was muted.
We'll be right back to the video. All I got to say is just subscribe if you're not already by clicking that subscribe button. Easy, free, but it makes all the difference. The majority of people who watch this show aren't subscribed. So if you want to make yourself no longer one of those people, do it. Thank you so much. Back to the video.
I didn't like it the last time, but it worked out fine. I mean, ask Biden how it worked out. It was fine. And I think it should be the same. We agreed to the same rules. Same rules and same specifications. And I think that's probably what it should be. But they're trying to change it. The truth is they're trying to get out of it because she doesn't want to debate. She's not a good debater. She's not a smart person. She doesn't want to debate.
Think about how illogical that is, and then I'll show you another clip from this Q&A. Let's just, for the time being, set aside that he's saying it's Kamala Harris who doesn't want to debate. She obviously does. But think about how strange it is to say, I would like the rules to be such that both they're the same as they were last time around, but also I would rather have the mics unmuted the whole time, but they should be muted because that's how it was last time. But I would want them. I'd be good either. What are you saying? Just sort of circular as it gets. I want them to be unmuted. I prefer unmuted, but I want them to be muted because it should be the way that it was last time. Well, why should it be the way it was last time? Because that's what it should be. Just because it went so well for you, I think that more had to do with Biden, unfortunately, and the night that he had. But it's because I think in this case, maybe Trump's afraid to be interrupted. I don't know. I will say on the mic muting thing, even with the Biden debate, initially I thought, oh, that's good. Prevent Trump from talking as he does. His strategy is to throw you off your game by just talk while you're trying to talk. But then, as we noticed in the debate and people pointed out beforehand, he's still there on stage a few feet away from you, so he can make noises and distract you. But now the audience just can't hear that. And I'd almost prefer the audience get to hear every crazy thing Trump is saying so that they know, oh, he is so insecure in his argument, he has to jump over Kamala Harris, or maybe Kamala Harris will interrupt Trump and throw him off. So I'd honestly rather it just be a couple of adults with mics, and if they can't handle that, then the American people should see it. Before getting to the Caitlin Collins thing I mentioned, here was one other moment from this.
Hostility was incredible, and Reince was in there, but he was a little bit softer than he should be, to be honest with you. But when I looked at the hostility of that, I said, why am I doing it? Let's do it with another network.
So we'll continue to follow it. I know sometimes it's a strange feeling to put so much emphasis on the pre-debate stuff. The debate isn't necessarily even going to happen at this exact time. Why are we talking about it? But it's because we saw in this election cycle, with the amount of people who are going to be interested too in this upcoming debate, it can be very, very impactful. It was impactful in the worst of ways last time around, as we saw. But also because of how new this matchup is, Harris versus Trump, I do think so many people are going to be very intrigued. Normally, you have almost years of campaigning, and so by the time it gets to the debate, people sort of generally know. They understand what a matchup would look like. They understand what the arguments are going to be. And while, of course, I still think it's absurd that people would be like, I don't know which one I'm going to go for, given how different they are, it is going to be a very unique and uniquely interesting to people, I should say, because of how new this matchup is. And here's what Caitlin Collins had to say about the debate. This is why Trump's so uncomfortable. If he can't craft an effective message on teleprompter against Kamala Harris, if he can't avoid personal attacks that alienate undecided voters on teleprompter or while he's speaking by himself, imagine him being on stage, how disoriented he'll get.
I think we can get there. I think the debate on September 10th is going to be so consequential, and it's going to have an audience that we can't believe, because what does America love? A train wreck. And they had one on June the 27th, and they want another train wreck.
I agree on that. Do you guys have that debate?
It's ABC debate.
ABC debate.
If it happens, I still think it's an open question of
Really?
whether or not it happens.
Trump's going to go. He's got to.
You think that Trump is going to pull out?
I think Trump is nervous about it. I think I talked to a lot of sources in his world. I think he has really struggled with it. It's not just a narrative or a talking point from Democrats. He really has struggled with how to combat her. And I think going into that debate, he does not really want to do it. I think it's difficult, if not impossible, for him to pull out, because his campaign manager had cards printed that said anywhere, anytime, any place for President Biden, and it would look weak. But I don't think he's looking forward to it at this point.
No.
This is not the part of this that is important, but just quickly, that phrase is strange, isn't it? I hear a lot of people say anywhere, anytime, any place. Isn't anywhere, any place a little redundant? Anywhere and any place is kind of the same thing, but whatever. Yeah, I think I believe that it's going to be very difficult for Trump to pull out altogether of the debate, because the surround sound attacking of him that will be done, the cowardice that will be called out, I think is too much for his ego to bear. Especially because in the Republican primary, whenever he didn't go to the debates, there at least was an argument there. I'm leading so much. Who really cares about debating these people? I'm going to win the nomination regardless. I still think, as I told you then, it's always good to show up and debate. Come on. But here, every single logical argument says it's in the interest of the American people for y'all to show up on the same debate stage. The newness of this matchup, as I said, and the unprecedented nature of this election, and honestly, the way the last one went, I think just the American people need to see this. And Trump, again, if he can't figure out a message that's compelling when he's in controlled environments that he has complete control over, like his rallies, and he's been flailing so much attacking her, imagine in person. Especially because she'll be thinking of ways to get under his skin, and I think he might fly off the rails. Think about the National Association of Black Journalists event. That was the first time in a really long time he put himself in an adversarial situation that clearly makes him uncomfortable. I think if they triggered him that much into saying Kamala Harris turned black and this woman next to me is so nasty, she treated me so poorly, I think Kamala Harris could cause Trump to go nuclear in a way that is devastating for his campaign. One more little take on this from Democratic Congressman Dan Goldman. This was on Fox News, so they sort of clash.
If I'm Donald Trump, I understand why he doesn't want to debate. Kamala Harris is
he's accepted
former
3.
prosecutor.
He said yes to September 4th, September 10th, September 17th. He said yes to a lot of them. So it's not that he's obviously afraid to debate.
No. So no. He had agreed to September 10th on ABC.
With Biden, who got pushed out.
What's the difference? Why should he not debate whoever the candidate is on September 10th as he agreed to? What is the difference between candidate Biden and candidate
it's fine.
Harris?
He said he would do it. I'm just saying he's also agreed to other debates. You said he hasn't agreed to others. He has. It's the Kamala Harris campaign that hasn't agreed.
So it is, just to be completely factual, it is true that not originally, there was a bunch of flip-flops, and then Trump said only on Fox News, and then he went, never mind, I'll do all 3. Because he saw himself slipping in the polls, so then it becomes, I'll do whatever to try to get that back. But it is him now. Well, I should say, so then he agreed to 3, that's true. And Kamala Harris said, let's do September 10th and see what we want to do after that. Both of them are perfectly in their right to make both of those decisions. But then, it's now Trump posting what I showed you. Why should I do this debate? And saying what I showed you. Why should I do this debate? And that also should be pointed out. And then this is so much more subjective, I get. But I think as rational adults, we can look at Trump's behavior in attacking Kamala Harris and say, well, Kamala Harris is probably nervous, as any person would be, prepping, all that. She wants a debate, and she's trying to make sure it's an advantageous scenario for her. Okay, fine. Again, both of them have the right to try and negotiate and leverage in any way they can to get a advantageous scenario. But it's clearly Trump who's just freaked by the concept. It is. That's why he's so frazzled on stage when he talks about her, because he can't find an attack like he had on Biden that works as effectively. Let me know what you thought of that in the comments. If you want to get extra content daily and support this show, you can do that by clicking, the join button below.